Hello, today I'm building in Copperdale on the lot that I usually build in Copperdale, and I've been trying out starting my voiceover early during the preview of my build just because I wanted to try something different. But this is a one bedroom and one bathroom cottage, and the shape is inspired by another build of mine. So, like about a month ago, I had done a Twitch stream that was a bunch of different 10-minute build challenges. And this was my second attempt at a 10-minute build challenge. Not this video. This video is a lot longer than that. But I had done one 10-minute build challenge, and I realized that there was no way that I could do an interior and an exterior in 10 minutes. And so the next attempt that I had was this sort of shape, and I only did the exterior in 10 minutes. And I really liked the shape of it. And I was like, you know what? I could maybe just take that and use that shape in a new build and do like a new color scheme and stuff like that. So I'll pull up that one so you could kind of see it. It's pretty much like this exact shape, but yeah, let me pull up the picture. Here it is. And when I was going back, I realized that this wasn't my second attempt for my 10-minute build challenge. This was attempt like 4. I just had looked at all the images and I already forgot, but I'm pretty sure it was attempt 4. So I was playing around with different shapes, and doing 10-minute build challenges like over and over again was a really good way to just try out different shapes of builds and not really think too hard. It was really difficult to do, and I remember like a year ago or so I was going to do a 10-minute build challenge as like a video, and I'm glad I didn't because it's really difficult. I don't know how people do it, especially with an interior as well. I was gonna upload all these to the gallery, and I completely forgot. I was also gonna put them all in a story highlight on my Instagram, and I forgot to do that as well. It's been this month has like flown by because my 10-minute build challenge was a fundraiser milestone because we've been raising funds for the PCRF, which is still going on. I have a donation link in my video description if you would like to like donate any amount to the PCRF. And I had different milestones, and the 10-minute build challenge I think was like the first milestone. And so I still have another sort of like build fundraiser milestone to complete, and it's an Instagram pics my builds, and I'm gonna stream it. And I've been considering lately trying out a YouTube stream for like building, and then like having the VODs on my channel rather than streaming my builds on my Twitch channel. This is all very like unclear in my head right now. I've been like thinking about it for a little while. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. I would like to try YouTube streaming just to like see how it goes. Um, I know that YouTube lives have a much bigger delay for like chat interaction compared to Twitch, and YouTube also has a lot less like moderation settings, or at least it did when I was looking into it like a year ago. So I'm not too sure, but if I do my Instagram poll Sims build, I'll post in like the community tab and stuff. I also post my Instagram. That's kind of how you can know when I'm live anyway, if you're interested at all in seeing any of my Twitch streams. I only really post that I'm live usually on my Instagram story, but I've kind of yapped over the first like 5 minutes of this build now. There isn't really much to say. I picked out like the log cabin walls from Horse Ranch, and I paired it with like a lighter stone from Get Together and the werewolves like wooden wall as well, and cottage living windows. But I really liked this part up here with these like roof details and putting them on the like peak of the roof. I felt like it made it look a little bit more interesting, and I liked how it turned out like that. And that was good because I was just on autopilot at that point, and I was like, "Wow, why does that, like, take the build to the next level for me?" Because I was not sold on this build for a while. I really liked the 10-minute build one better at first, and I was really trying to like this build, and I just kind of had to stick with it, and I was like, "Okay, Megan, you don't like it right now, but you'll add ivy to it, and you'll add landscaping to it, and you'll slowly like the build." And I did, and I do end up really liking the build. I like the yellow flowers and the ivy, and I like how the landscaping turned out, and I use like a couple of really large, like weeping willow trees, and I feel like it helps to make it feel very overgrown. And I do think I made some improvements to this build shape compared to the 10-minute build challenge. I really like the water and how it has like the, I guess, like a dock, but it's the porch leading up. You could see that my G shade was turned off for a second to see what it looked like. So you could see what the build looks like without G shade. But yeah, and then I liked the diagonal parts of the porch too. I feel like just like the front lawn just like is selling me on the build, and it makes it feel a lot more complete and a lot more like it's meant to be here in this lot. This lot is like the most beautiful and perfect lot for builds, or like my builds, I guess. It is like off a dirt road. There is like really beautiful bright blue water in like the back of it. And sometimes like taking a picture of the back of the build, you can see the like carnival circus stuff, which sometimes I feel like it doesn't fit into the build, but I really do like that aesthetic anyway. And I really liked building like a haunted house here. I've done that on this lot before, and you could see the carnival, and just like makes me think of like 80s horror movies. And like I'm like, that's like the perfect summer aesthetic kind of. And you could see me like posing the tab mode to get a look at the build. And that's when I was like, okay, I like this build now. I'm like, it's only gonna get better from here. And I really barely remember the interior of this. Um, I like have the image in my head of what I think the interior looks like, but I've worked on 2 builds this week. I know that in my last voiceover, I was like, I might not have a build video next week because I might need a break. But I ended up working on 2 different builds. This one, as well as I started another shell challenge, which is almost done. The only problem is I had to take a break from working on the shell challenge because the interior was almost looking like a copy of this interior, because I kind of did them like so close to each other. And I was like, all right, let's just like take a break so you don't repeat the same sort of interior, which like my interiors are always going to kind of have the same sort of feel and vibe. That's just how it goes. That's like my style. But it was starting to feel, it was like they were blending in to be the same, a little bit too much for me personally. And but for this build, I was picking out some more flowers to add around. I do end up grabbing some purple flowers too. I think, yeah, these are all the purple flowers. I put some on the roof as well, just to like make it feel a little bit more overgrown, and like it's been overgrown for like many, many years. And I just liked the purple with the yellow flowers that I had on the building, and I also pull out some different wildflowers, like these purple ones, and I scatter them around in the front as well. Recently, I've been using Tool Mod to lower flowers into the ground a little bit, because sometimes it's a little bit too high up, and I kind of just want the flowers to be much closer to the grass instead of being like so tall. I've been doing that with grass too lately. It's like lowering them in, and I don't know why it took me so long to like play around with it like that. The only stuff I used to really lower into the ground was the rocks and things like that, but also doing it with different plants really helps to create a more like dynamic landscape, I think, and it also makes it like more your own, I feel. And I would just like pulled out some items to put on the exterior. It's not a whole bunch. I did like a cauldron and some hay bales, and that was it, but I really like when people put like different furniture items outside and creating little areas, like sitting areas or just like anything like that. Even if people just put barrels around, I really love those little like details and it feels very personal. And I always forget to do that because it's like I do the landscaping and then I'm like, all right, time to do the interior. But I'd like to be more intentional with the items that I pick. There wasn't that much space in this, like, lot, though. It is a very small lot, which is also why I really love building here. Um, you don't need to, like, spend a whole bunch of time building because it is a very tiny lot, and the landscape is mostly taken up by 2 ponds and a whole bunch of trees. Like, I've been using a lot of trees in all of my landscapes lately, and it's like they look very nice, but also it just takes up a good amount of the lot, and it's just I don't need to do as much with, like, tool mod or racing up a whole bunch of terrain, which I really do love doing. It's like depending on my mood because I do usually space out when I build and I build just like to relax and calm down and like escape the thoughts most of the time. And sometimes it's just placing trees and pairing them together and like finding what trees look the best and most like natural together, which sometimes is what my brain needs. And then other times it's to try and figure out a whole bunch of landscaping and just like space out for a while and raise the terrain up and like try and create different levels and stuff like that. But this build didn't have any raised terrain, it just had the two lower ponds and a whole bunch of trees, which this lot, like, I feel like this lot needs a lot of trees. It's hidden in the middle of this forest in Copperdale, and it's just like my favorite lot, I think. I'm sure if you go to like each of my videos, it's like, hi, I'm building here. And it's like the same repeated lots like over and over again. I don't ever really get out of my comfort lots very often. I did when I was going back to doing some of the Chestnut Ridge builds, but like just now, literally when in between some of these voiceovers, I had this idea that I want to do another like save file for like fall and like Halloween. Like I did my Glimmerbrook one last year and it took a lot of effort and it was like a whole lot of lore and I made sims for it and like it's on my Patreon for free download if you want it. But I was thinking of doing like a haunted neighborhood or haunted world and build a story around that. I'm not sure what world I would do it in. And I'm looking at Copperdale now and I'm like, that, I mean, Copperdale would be the perfect world for that. But it is a huge world, and I'm not sure if I have it in me. And also, there's a lot of lots in this world that scare me because I'm not used to building in, like, more like town vibes where there's, like, a road right there. That, like, scares me a lot because 'cause I'm like, "What do I do for that?" So I'd have to, like, play around and see and, like, maybe pick a smaller world, but, like, I'll update about that random idea that I had because who knows if it'll actually happen. I'm feeling really excited about it, though, so I do wanna do, like, a haunted save file. It would be a lot of fun for me, and it would give me, like, a nice long project to work on, um, while, like, Halloween is approaching. I know it's July, but let me talk about the interior of this build now. Um, I used pretty much the same wallpapers throughout, which I feel like worked. I like how the wallpapers look. I'm using base game wooden walls, and like each accent wall is using the stone from the exterior as well. So it's like the get together stone. And I put that pretty much on any of the walls that were like, how would I describe that? They weren't like part of the main room, is what I would say. So they're almost like they feel like columns, kind of. Um, so the bathroom is just a bathroom. There's not much going on for the bathroom. um, I had to take a break from this build as soon as I finished it, and I almost like deleted everything, which is weird. Like, I don't know why. I feel like when I add the towels in, I was like, I don't know if I could continue this entire build with this set of towels. And I thought that was like a little ridiculous. I was like, Megan, are you like really struggling to do an entire interior just because of some towels? And those aren't even the towels. The towels are coming up. Yeah, right here. I was like, these towels and the rug. I was like, I don't think I can continue this build. I think I've ruined it completely. So I didn't take a break right after it, but I did go into the living room and I picked out a couch. And I really love that couch. I really do love the living room. So yeah, this is when I come back and I'm like, all right, just leave the bathroom as is. If you want to change it, you could change it. And for the living room, I really wanted to do like a wall over there where it felt like very built in, but I didn't really know what to do. And so I just started placing a lot more like surfaces around because I wanted to fill up the room like a lot. And so I have just like the fireplace and I end up like looking for other things to place next to it. I settle on this, which is like the TV unit area. And I put more like shelves in and I fill up the space with a lot of books. And I feel like it ended up capturing what I was going for, but like I'm not very good at describing things or describing what I was intending on doing. But I really just wanted the walls to feel like there's just furniture everywhere, at least on those two parts of the room. And then the rest of the room just doesn't have as much. I think I do like a side table with a lamp, something like that. I really loved using the suitcase with the books kind of as a coffee table. And I put this phone item, which must be from Basement Treasures. And I was like thinking the entire time as I was placing that, I was like, the wire is going to look weird if it's hanging off the side of these books, but I cannot be bothered to make sure that it doesn't. And I should have probably sized the phone down just a little bit using Tool, but I just keep it as that, which is like okay, because when I took the screenshots, I didn't mind it. I still really love this room. I like the clutter in it. And normally I try and avoid using the same sort of books over and over again, but I kept the like same swatch in the books because I thought it looked the nicest and I felt like those colors complemented the room a lot better than like any of the other swatches, and like all the mismatched books I felt like was like too noisy to me. And so I went with these ones and just like yellow and green blinds and curtains to kind of like go with the cream couch that also has like a green blanket off the side, like things like that. And I placed a book down which might be floating on the couch, but you can't really tell from here. If you download it for gameplay, you just take the book off so your Sims can sit there without either like cutting into it or like that being unusable because there's a book sitting there. But I do love the living room. I also really like the dining room area, which I'll get to in a second after I put some lights around. But the dining room, I ended up being able to use some of the new cabinets from the Bistro kit, which is one of my top favorite kits. Now, the Bistro kit is really good, and I was surprised. Like, I knew I was gonna get it mostly because I wanted the wine bottles and, like, that sort of clutter. And then I was like, "Oh, this has, like, good furniture in it. Like, this is a really nice solid kit." So, that's gonna be a kit that I use pretty much in every build. I was, like, checking again with G-Shade off to see how the cabinets looked. I really wanted to like the green cabinets, but I just couldn't, and I don't know why that is. I think I was, like, comparing it to the rest of the build, and I was like, "This doesn't make a lot of sense." And also the counters are, like, a much more, like, orangey brown compared to the rest, and I extra didn't like it when I picked out this dining room table. I was like, "Okay, but I love the wood in the dining room table." So I had to change the entire kitchen to the cabinets that I always use, even though I was trying something different. I think in my shell challenge, well, not my shell challenge, but the shell challenge build that I'm working on, I do use more colorful cabinets. I think I used the yellow ones. So I got it in that one, but this one, it just didn't work. but you'll see the like new bistro cabinets in a second. I placed them on the wall where I'm putting those lights. I had to delete the lights because I put the cabinets there. But I also really liked that light above the stove, but I knew it would become super dirty and like probably covered in like like slime with the like fixture up there. But Sims don't need to worry about that. But yeah, these bistro cabinets, it looks so good. I love the details on the top of it, and I love the like built-in clutter in it too. And I didn't really put too much on those cabinets itself. I just put some candles and then like that even looks really good with the Crystal Creations console table that I put next to it. I feel like they work together so nicely and the wood swatches look really nice. And I know that I'm using G Shade, which helps to like blend in some of the wood swatches, but I feel like even without it, that looks like like a pretty close match to each other, which is sometimes hard to come by. So maybe that means that they're kind of being more intentional with the wood swatches now because those 2 packs came out pretty recently. I know Crystal Creations came out at like the start of the year and it's like we're like 7 months into the year, but my brain can't like comprehend that. So it feels like it was within a couple of months already. But I made this tower a like a study room with different bookcases. I used the ones from the Book Nook kit. So like I was like trying to play around and see. I was like, I don't really want to block the window, so I'm gonna use these ones. I really like it. I also end up using like an ottoman and like raising it up to make it seem like your Sims could read in that little nook area. It would be nice if the window was a little bit lower so they could look out the window, but maybe like the scale of the Sims, they could technically look out that window. I don't even think that's functional. I doubt your Sims can actually sit there. I didn't try, and I wasn't really going for functional, and I'm assuming that it's not functional. So that's like what I was going on. And I do need to play test this bedroom because I'm worried that the fireplace there will make it so your Sims can't walk around to the other side of the bed. So I do need to try that out. I also know that that fireplace is pretty close to the bed. I'm sure that it would catch fire. So if you download this, you'll need to add fire alarms because if there's one consistent thing about my builds, it's that I never put a smoke alarm in and I never put any of like the fire safety stuff in because it's like I feel like it takes away from the look of the build. I know I could hide them somewhere, but at this point, I'm just never going to remember anyway. So you're just gonna have to remember to do it. And sometimes when I'm play testing, I think I'm like, Megan, what would be a good idea right now is if you put in a smoke alarm. So if a fire happens, it goes out quickly and you don't lose all your build. And instead of doing that, I just save the lot to my library. So if that happens, I could just replace the lot down. Like that's my workaround for it. But it hasn't happened in a while that I got a fire while I was playtesting. The last time I can remember is when I was doing the, like, goth house, and the entire, like, living room was on fire, and then, like, in the, screenshots, I had the fire going, but that that was, like, a long time ago, so I guess the fires don't happen as much, but I don't, like, play in the build for that long. So just be careful is what I mean. I kinda talked over all of that, but you could kind of see some pictures now. In the bedroom, I went with more like a blue, like a very calm blue, color palette where, like, the downstairs has a lot of yellows and greens, and the bedroom is more of, like, the blues. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll probably have a shell challenge entry video next week. So yeah, thank you. Bye.